Welcome back, everybody, to the Philadelphia Eagles franchise here on Madden 22. Today we are wrapping up the regular season here in year number 4. The Eagles are 11-5 and have clinched a playoff berth, but still have a lot to play for today as they head to Baltimore to face off against the also 11-5 Baltimore Ravens. Today's episode's got a lot in it. We're going to start off with our final prospect profile of the year, looking at linebackers and defensive backs of this upcoming draft class. Then we had this game against the Ravens, and then we will recap this whole regular season as a whole. So as we start the prospect profile, we're going to open up with linebackers. We've got a talented group here. Guys like Josh Uche and Jabari Achabe are more of pass rushers, so they don't really count because we do run a 4-3. We do have some good young off-ball linebackers whom I like, however. Guys like Winston Johnson, Boo McAllister, and Hannibal Savage. Isaiah Simmons and Bobby Wagner are, of course, here as well. Simmons is definitely a piece of the future. Wagner, not as likely because he is 34 years old. It is a weak linebacker class, but there are some guys at the top I really like. The best overall linebacker in this year's draft class is Wilton Emmiton from the University of Alabama. He is more of a pass rusher at 6'3", 260 pounds. Don't expect him to drop into coverage on third down. Probably more of a 3-4 outside linebacker and somebody who could put his hand in the dirt in a 4-3 scheme. Emmiton is raw, but he's a complete freak. One of the best overall athletes in this entire draft class. As you can see here, every athletic measurable is great to elite. He's a really good run stopper, though, and he does have good technique, but he just has to improve his consistency as a pass rusher, and if he does, oh boy, he's going to be real good. There are some other guys down the board I like: Mac Mendoza, Lamont Cardell, Joseph Muhammad from Westlake, and then there's Ford Chavez from Metropolis. Chavez is one of 4 Metropolis players in this draft class. The other 3 are also either linebackers or defensive backs, with Malcolm DeGray, Tavion Lewis, and Ryan Yovanovich. All of them are projected fringe 7th rounders, but who knows, maybe we'll take a shot on them late, and they could be good players. All 4 of them were very productive in college, so we'll see what they can do here at the next level. Middle linebacker, there are some guys I like: Chauncey Burks, Kenneth Barker, Desmond Clay, all really solid. Barker, of course, coming from Westlake, but Michigan's Sterling Babineau might be the most intriguing of the group. I'm not sure how many of you guys remember Rashawn Babineau from the Jaguars franchise. Well, this is his identical twin. I get the timelines don't really work between series, but just roll with the storyline. So Sterling Babineau on the field is literally a clone of his twin brother Rashawn Babineau. Same size, same jersey number, same school, University of Michigan, and same skill sets. They're both hybrid safety linebackers. Babineau here is listed as a linebacker, whereas his twin brother Rashawn Babineau was listed as a safety, but he played a lot of sub-linebacker. Regardless, they're very similar players, and the Eagles could take a shot on him in the late first round. Not an overly deep middle linebacker class. We do have a couple Westlake guys in here, as I mentioned, Kenneth Barker earlier, along with Leonard Thomas. A lot of Westlake players, as you'll see today. Right outside linebacker, this is where it gets kind of weak. We do have a few Westlake Hornets with Dustin Tidwell, and then down the board with Alex Brown and Jesse Riley. Westlake had a lot of their backup underclassmen declare, who would have been starters next year, but decided to leave early for whatever reason. Our secondary is very talented. We have Nehemiah Richardson and TJ Thomas at corner. Deshaun Elliott and Joko Nwosu is our starting safety duo, along with our first-round pick last year, Edmund Orient, who's been our nickel corner and will likely play free safety next season. I do really like developing and drafting defensive backs. I really strongly value the secondary, so we still may go that route this year, as we start with cornerback Bryson Barraclaw from Kentucky. Barraclaw is not just the #1 cornerback in this class, he's the #1 player overall. There have been a lot of elite cornerback prospects in this series. Look no further than Nehemiah Richardson, who we used a top 3 pick on. Well, Bryson Barraclaw is better than any cornerback who's come out maybe in the history of the National Football League. He's 6'2", 192, so he is a little skinny, but that's nitpicky. He's the youngest player in the draft class at just 20 years old. He is sticky in coverage. He has completely tormented #1 SEC wide receivers. And oh yeah, he's got unbelievable hands. He's picked off 7 passes this year. When you throw the ball his way, he's more likely to catch it than the receiver he's covering. He is a high-level athlete who provides everything. There are no weaknesses to his game. He's the best player in the draft class. The Atlanta Falcons, who have not won a game this year, have already clinched the #1 pick, so you can just pencil him in as an Atlanta Falcon. He's going to do great things with the Dirty Birds. There are a number of first-round corners throughout the board, including Westlake's Darsheen Brooks Jr. This is a loaded cornerback class, particularly at the top, with 5 or 6 guys who may end up going in round 1. Darsheen Brooks Jr. would be CB1 most years, but with how good Bryson Barraclough is, that kind of slows the hype down on Darsheen Brooks. But he is still a really good player, highly productive at Westlake. It took a little while for him to get onto the scene, but once he became a full-time starter, he was really, really good. And his counterpart, Marion Smith-Gardner, is another first-round corner who we're going to talk about in a minute. Moving down here, another possible top 10 pick is Knox Hodgson from Florida State. Hodgson has unbelievable upside, but he does have a lot of work to do. He has had some really good moments this year, pretty much single-handedly beating the Clemson Tigers. He picked off 3 passes in this game and really challenged Bryson Barraclough as the best player in this class. The reason why Hodgson isn't at the level of Bryson Barraclough is because Hodgson doesn't really have the consistency. He has struggled against really good receivers throughout the ACC, and that is a little bit of a concern. The ball skills are top tier. The athleticism is top tier, but he's just too inconsistent in coverage to be a true contender for the #1 pick. But he is still going to go probably towards the back end of the top 10, and I think he's got a chance to be really good. Think Trayvon Diggs, but without the penalties and probably a little bit better in coverage than Trayvon Diggs. Raymar Coley Jr. from LSU is very interesting. He has not played a single game for the Tigers ever. Coley spent his first 2 seasons at North Dakota State, transferred to LSU, and has been academically ineligible, largely in part because of violating NIL rules. So Coley has not been able to play this year for the Tigers, but with how good he was at North Dakota State in his first 2 years, he's probably a lock from a first round. I briefly mentioned Marion Smith-Gardner earlier. He, of course, plays on the other side of Darsheen Brooks Jr. So Marion Smith-Gardner is really good, but production with him is off the charts. He has been game in and game out, super consistent. He's one of Westlake's best players on the practice field, which says something because the Westlake Hornets breed NFL talent. The problem with Smith-Gardner is the measurables and the athleticism. Smith-Gardner is an average athlete, and he's very small. He's only 5'10", 164 pounds. Many scouts question if he'll be able to compete on the outside in the NFL. He's also 23 years old, which isn't ideal, but again, the production with him is off the charts, and I think he's going to be a good pro. Josh Demerit from Clemson is built similarly. He's also 5'10", he's also 23 years old. He's a little bit heavier, but he has similar measurables to Smith-Gardner. The difference is that Demerit is more of a nickel corner. When he's been put on the outside at Clemson, he's been, well, to put it nicely, very bad. When he has been put in the nickel, he has been fantastic. So I think he's going to be a slot-only corner in the NFL, which you don't really want to use a first-round pick on a pure slot guy, but he's got a chance to be one of the best nickel corners in the NFL very early on. Great athleticism. I think if he can improve his technique, maybe he could play on the outside one day, but he's got some work to do. Although it's a top-heavy cornerback class, I don't think it's an overly deep group. There are some guys I like down the board who I think will be good pros, but outside of the first round, it's not phenomenal. I will say it is a pretty good safety class, and again, the Westlake Hornets are very well represented as we start with the top 3 safety in the class, Frank Washington. Washington is very steady and reliable. I think he's one of the safest and more NFL-ready players in this draft class, and I don't think he's much of a project. I think he's very polished, and he's going to be very good right off the bat. Does he have the elite measurables and athleticism that suggest he'll be a star? Probably not, but I think he's going to be a high-level starter right off the jump, and he's going to be a good pro in this league for 10-plus years. And if you're getting a player like that at, say, pick 18, that's a major win. Think of like a Kareem Jackson, possibly. I'm not necessarily comparing them as players, but I could see a similar career arc, other than the fact that I think Washington's probably less of a tweener and probably going to stick at 3 safety, whereas Kareem Jackson sort of played all over the field, and it took a little longer for him to figure it out. But once he did, he was a good pro. Deep 3 safety class, there are a number of players I like, guys like Gabe Taylor, LaQuivian Johnson, Chris Gentry, but UCF's Zyquel White really intrigues me. At only 22 years old, White has the upside to be very solid. He is super versatile. I know he's listed as free safety, but he does a number of different things for this Central Florida defense. Along with playing single high and free safety, he can also play strong safety, he can play nickel corner, he can play box linebacker. He's done everything for UCF. He's pretty much played the star role of the defense. Think like a Tyrann Mathieu or an Isaiah Simmons, at least when he was in college. So we do like drafting versatile defensive backs like Zyquel White. Think Edmund Orient, but a little bit worse. So we may want to take a shot on him in, say, the second or third round and look to develop him. I don't think he's overly NFL ready. I think he's got a lot of work to do, but the upside with him is absolutely there. Then as we move to strong safety, this might be my favorite position group in the entire draft class because there are a couple players who are really unique. Westlake's Fred Blount stands at 6'5". He's tall, high in the sky, just like his last name would suggest. Westlake's 4 defensive back starters are all likely to go in the first round this year, which is just remarkable. Blount might have the highest ceiling of the group. It's hard to find 6'5" safeties who have the ability that he does. With his size, I think he has the versatility to also possibly play slot linebacker. And hell, I think he has the stiffness and quickness to play outside corner. How many 6'5" outside corners are there? I do think he will serve best at strong safety, but I really hope the team who drafts him uses him in a variety of ways. You think he's cool, though. His backup, Roderick Anderson, is even bigger. Roderick Anderson stands at 6'7" at strong safety. I think he probably should have stayed in school for another season, and I think had he stayed at Westlake, become a full-time starter next year, he probably could have been a first or a second-round pick because the Westlake Hornets have a high track record of developing defensive backs. Instead, Roderick Anderson decided to declare for the draft, which I guess I can't totally blame him for wanting to just be a pro now, take the money. And with his 6'7" frame, somebody's got to draft him. Somebody's got to see the upside on day 3 of this draft. Even if he's not proven and he's never started a game in his college career, the upside is absolutely off the charts, and maybe we're the team who wants to take a big swing on him. Of course, I mentioned Ryan Jovanovic is in here as well. He's a little bit shorter than those guys, only at 6'4", which is also extremely tall for a safety. So there you go. That's the draft class. Very fun and talented group of players. I'm excited for the offseason, and I'm excited to see where all of these guys go. Some of them will be Philadelphia Eagles, most likely. So now that we've done all of the prospect profiles here for Season 4, all of our attention for the rest of the season is now put on the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a very fun time to be a fan of the Birds as we are headed back to the playoffs for a second straight season, but the question is, what seed are we going to be? We're currently the 5 seed. We have a chance to go as high as 1, so it's safe to say we're not going to be playing the backups today. As it stands now, the Cowboys are ahead of us by 1 game, but we did beat them twice, so we do have the head-to-head tiebreaker over them. The 49ers and Bucs also have 11 wins. We did not play the Niners. We did play the Bucs, and we lost, so Tampa Bay does have the tiebreaker over us. And Atlanta, by the way, has a chance to be the first 0-17 team in NFL history. As we look at the AFC, our opponent today, the Ravens, are in a very similar situation as us. They're a game behind the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they also beat the Steelers twice. So they are also in a scenario where they could win the division. We did have a player of the week last week, Isaiah Simmons, with 14 tackles and a pick 6. Very well deserved. He was flying all over the field in our previous game. A big win over the New Orleans Saints. So as we look at this Ravens team, everything starts and ends with Lamar Jackson. Jackson is a 99 at every single archetype, and if you look at his ratings, he is at least a 95 in every single throwing statistic, not to mention 96 speed, 96 excel, 95 agility. I know this might sound crazy, but Lamar Jackson at his current form might be the most talented quarterback in NFL history. So I am a little scared. They also have a dynamic cornerback duo with Jalen Ramsey and Marlon Humphrey, who are both 97 overall or higher, and they have one of the better rosters in the NFL. This Ravens team is a legitimate Super Bowl contender with a legitimate Super Bowl caliber quarterback, so this is not going to be an easy game for us. This is one of the best teams in the NFL we're facing off against, And who knows, maybe this could be a Super Bowl preview. I think both of these teams do have what it takes to possibly make the big game. So it should be a fun test against a really good football team before we enter into the postseason. Both of these teams have a chance to win their divisions today. The Eagles are one game up behind the Cowboys. The Ravens are one game behind the Steelers. Both the Eagles and Ravens swept those two teams respectively. So if Baltimore wins and Pittsburgh loses, Baltimore takes the North. As you all know, if the Eagles win and Dallas loses, Philadelphia takes the NFC East. So the stakes really couldn't be higher for a Week 18 regular season game. Baltimore opens up with the ball. Lamar Jackson loses a good old 4 yards there, quickly wrapped up by Clelin Ferrell, who has had a really productive season for us. Ferrell's a free agent in the offseason. The Eagles are going to have to figure out if they want to pay him. 3rd and 8, the pass is going to be caught by Marquise Hollywood Brown for the first down. Nehemiah Richardson not able to get to him quick enough. Good first down for Hollywood. From the 47, Lamar on the option again, loses 3 more yards. Isaiah Simmons that time makes the play. The Ravens would get nothing out of that drive. They have to punt it. The Eagles had the ball, but not for long. The first play of the drive is an interception for Patrick Queen, who brings it to the 8. Not an ideal start for Xander Vanderwall, who actually prevented Queen from getting the pick 6. I will say one positive about Xander Vanderwall's interceptions is that he gets a lot of tackles off of his picks. I know that's not really a good thing, but whatever. 3rd and goal, Winston Johnson with a huge tackle on J.K. Dobbins. The Eagles' run defense, who has been fantastic this second half of the season, has been so far pretty fantastic today. Here is Stanley Blue on for the 24-yard field goal. The kick is good. No more Justin Tucker. He plays for the Bengals now. We're big Bengal fans, by the way, today, because that is who the Cowboys are playing this week. So, who dey? Eagles with the ball. There's Rosemont St. Clair down the field. He's going to bring it to the 8-yard line for a gain of 52. A huge play for St. Clair, who's done very well as a receiver since Devontae Smith broke his foot a couple of weeks ago against Seattle. Devontae Smith should be cleared for the wild card round. 3rd and goal, big sack for the Ravens defense. That's Osvaldo Sapp, a former first-round pick out of South Carolina, who makes the play. Sapp was drafted as a raw pass rusher, but if there's anything and any team who can develop raw athletic pass rushers, it is the Baltimore Ravens. Zebediah Phoenix II makes the 29-yard field goal. So the Eagles are on the board. They tie it at 3 with a minute and a half left in the quarter. Ravens with the football back, trying to regain this lead on first down. Lamar Jackson keeps it on the option. This time it pays off. There goes Jackson down the field. Nothing but green grass ahead of him, and he gets shoestring tackled by Joko Onwosu. Onwosu might have saved a touchdown on that play. Still a very nice run for Lamar Jackson as we wrap up the first quarter. Tied at 3. It's been a pretty close start so far. Neither team has really gotten a whole lot of momentum. Big play here early in the second as it's a 3rd and 7. Baltimore with it at the 11. Lamar Jackson looking to throw it. He goes short. It's caught by J.K. All-Day Dobbins, but it's not all day on that play as he only gets about 4. The rookie Edmund Orient was the one with the tackle. Stanley Blue makes the field goal, and it's now 6-3. It's been a battle of the kickers so far. So the Eagles offense has it back. We'll see if they can try to take their first lead at the game. 3rd and 9. Vanderwall scrambling to the right. Flag on the play as it is caught. Great throw by Vanderwall. Great route and catch by Tykeem Keon. But this one is coming back. It's going to be a holding against Jedrick Wills. So that'll make it a 3rd and 19. The Eagles pretty much need a miracle to keep this drive going. Vanderwall looking to throw it again. Goes to his right. Looks to get it to Dobbs. What a catch! Troy Dobbs is just shy of the first down marker, and the Eagles say F it. 4th and 1 on our own 35. Let's go for it. And it pays off. Taz Will Hubbard gets a couple of yards, which will convert the first down as former first-round pick Ryan Irwin is hurt on the play. 3rd and 10 now for the Eagles. Vanderwall misses Tykeem Keon. So all of that for nothing. Eagles would punt it. Ravens get it back. 4:17 left in the first half. Baltimore looking to make it a 2-score drive here on this possession. Lamar Jackson on 3rd and 11 misses the wide-open Dobbins. Lamar doesn't miss throws very often, but that one robbed the Ravens of a first down. The Eagles have it back. 3rd and 7. Vanderwall goes short for J.T. DeMarco. the rookie out of Ohio State who was pushed out of bounds at the 42-yard line by another former Buckeye, Malik Harrison. 3rd and 2 now at the 50. 2-minute warning. Here is Vanderwall looking to throw it, backs up into the pocket, and it's caught! Another great grab by Troy Dobbs, who's made a few really nice plays so far in this ball game. That'll keep the chains moving from the 37. Vanderwall scrambling once again to the right, looking to throw it. He connects with Tykeem Keon, who brings it to the 13. Keon creates just enough separation off of Jalen Ramsey for the conversion. Jalen Ramsey's the best corner in football, and so far he has won that battle against Tykeem Keon. Keon looking to respond as he makes the catch. He is into the end zone. Touchdown for Tykeem Keon. This drive will put Keon over the 1,000 yards mark for the 3rd time in his 3-year career. We finally have a touchdown today, and the Eagles are winning for the first time this afternoon, 10-6. Ravens looking to answer as it's the slot receiver, Braxton Pratt. Sneaky athlete, high motor kid, type of guy I'd let my daughter date with that first down. If you get the joke, you get the joke. Here's the tight end, Mark Andrews, now past the 40. Andrews is one of the best players at his position. He has been pretty quiet so far today, however, until that play. 3rd and 10 from the 39. About a minute to go. Both teams have all 3 timeouts. Lamar for the end zone. It's overthrown. Trying to get it to Pratt. So that'll force a punt. The Eagles get it back here with 3 timeouts and an opportunity to do some damage. The Eagles have it at the 15-yard line. Here's Vanderwall moving to his left. He's going to say, F it. Make me a play, Tykeem Keon. What a catch! Keon puts Jalen Ramsey on a poster. Usually it's F it. Devontae Smith is down there somewhere, but since Smith is hurt, it's going to be Tykeem Keon instead. Unfortunately, the Eagles would completely mismanage the clock after that, but they're still in field goal range. Zebediah Phoenix sinks it down the uprights. And that'll wrap up this first half. 13-6, the Eagles are on top. Baltimore had a lead for a majority of this first half, but a few big plays down the stretch there from Tykeem Keon will help put the Eagles ahead 13-6. We have ran the ball horribly today. Tazewell Hubbard has done nothing, so that's certainly going to have to be the focus. And then on the other side of the ball, we're really doing a good job of stopping the scramble. Lamar Jackson's only had 1 really good run so far, so I want to keep the focus on that because our defense has been so far really impressive today. Nice gain of 11 there for Tazewell Hubbard, who only had 9 yards in the first half, so I guess that's a good start to the second half for Hubbard, who kind of needed it. Tazewell Hubbard fantasy owners must not be thrilled. 3rd and 4, there's Keon again, off to the races. A 62-yard touchdown as he walks onto the red carpet for his 2nd touchdown of the ball game. Unlike Tazewell Hubbard, I imagine Tykeem Keon fantasy owners must be pleased, as Keon has scored twice today. He is putting up some big numbers, and the Birds lead it by 14. They've put up 17 unanswered. The Ravens looking to answer, and that's a good answer, but Lamar fumbles it, and the ball is picked up by Dobbins. Josh Uche had a chance to pick that one up, but the Ravens are lucky that they moved the chains and actually got a few more yards off of the fumble. 2nd and 10, there's the slot receiver Braxton Pratt, who brings it to the 27-yard line for a gain of 16. The Ravens are moving it as it's 3rd and goal. The Eagles have not allowed a touchdown since 2 weeks ago, and that's going to stick here. Baltimore had 3 chances on the goal line, didn't get it in once. It's been a rough day for J.K. Dobbins. 15 carries, 16 yards. The Eagles' run defense has been stout. 4th and goal, Baltimore says, F it. What do we have to lose? Let's go for it. Lamar Jackson connects in the end zone. It's caught by K.J. Hamler. The pass was nearly picked off, but Hamler was able to snatch it away, as that's the first time in 2 weeks the Eagles have allowed a touchdown. This is the same defense who was getting torched the first half of the season, by the way. 20-13, we're done here through 3. On to the 4th quarter. Can the Eagles hold on for the win? 2nd and 7, another nice play for Troy Dobbs. Dobbs only had, I think, 4 catches going into the game, but today he's made a number of really big plays and has been the unsung hero. 3rd and 3, downfield, what a catch by Keon, but he was out of bounds. That would have been sick. So the Eagles are going to have to settle for the field goal, 46-yard attempt here for Zebediah Phoenix. Phoenix splits the uprights. He is 3 for 3 today, and the best kicker in the National Football League will put the Eagles back up by 10. 23-13, Ravens have a little bit over 7 minutes to do some damage. As that pass is nearly intercepted, C.J. Thomas had a great chance to make the play, but instead it's caught by Rashad Bateman, who's been awfully quiet today. C.J. Thomas has locked him down. 3rd and 4th of 39. Lamar Jackson under pressure. Takes a shot downfield. And it is going to be incomplete. Looked like Bateman made the catch, but Thomas swayed him out of bounds. 4th and 4. The Ravens again have no choice but to go for it. Lamar Jackson incomplete. He throws it in between Andrews and Pratt. But there's nobody in between them. So the Eagles get the stop. They lead by 10. Philadelphia appears to be in a pretty good spot as they now look to finish off the game. 3rd and 11. Nice catch for Tykeem Keon, who's had his best game of the season. Even in a true clock situation, the Eagles' run game has not been dependent at all, so they have to throw it. Vanderwall downfield. It's caught by Troy Dobbs, who brings it to the 18. Major shout out to Troy Dobbs, who is having a career day. As I said, he had 4 catches on the year going into the game. Today alone, he has 5. 3rd and 4. Tazewell Hubbard with the touchdown that should ice it. See, Tazewell Hubbard fantasy owners, it's not all that bad. So Hubbard will put the Eagles up by 17. It's a 3-score game with 2 minutes to go. This one appears to be over. Philadelphia looking to ice it as Braxton Pratt is wide open at the 48-yard line. Now at the 2-minute warning from the 40. 1st and 10 here for Baltimore, looking for a miracle to keep their AFC North division hopes alive. Lamar Jackson sacked for the first time today by Josh Uche, who is now at 10 on the year. 2nd and 23. Downfield pass picked off. C.J. Thomas with the interception. Thomas trying for a big return. He is wrapped up at the 26. Thomas led the NFL in interceptions a year ago with 10. This year he leads the NFL with 8. This is the best ball hawker in the NFL. Nobody has better ball skills right now than C.J. Thomas. That's how this game comes to a close. The Eagles had a big test going into this matchup, and the eye test determines that they passed with flying colors. 30-13 is your score. This was just a really good performance. The offense was good. The defense was good. Not much else. Nobody really struggled in this game. We didn't necessarily dominate, but this is about as good of a win as you're going to get in Baltimore against a really good Ravens team who, like us, had a lot to play for. Xander Vanderwall threw an interception on the first offensive play of the game, but other than that, he was quite good. Lamar Jackson wasn't bad, but he just wasn't all that impressive. On the ground game, we ran the ball mediocrely, if that's a word. But Ravens, they kind of struggled, although Lamar had a couple nice plays. Tykeem Keon, 6 catches, 175 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He did drop 3 passes, but that's neither here nor there. Beggars be choosers. And then Troy Dobbs, 5 catches, 75 yards. Talk about making some big plays in a big game. The defense was quite solid. We did not have a sack or a turnover until the final 2 minutes, but our defense got stops. We contained Lamar Jackson, and we played really well. So we're going to finish this season with a record of 12-5. The games we have to watch out for are the Bucs and the Saints. Go Saints. Niners, Dolphins. Go Dolphins. And the most important one for us, Dallas and Cincinnati. Go Bengals. So we're going to see how these 3 games ended up going here as we simulate the week before we determine who we play in our first playoff game. So the Niners beat the Dolphins. The Bucs beat the Saints, which eliminates our shot of being the 1 seed. And now the Dallas Cowboys, they lose to the Bengals. Cincinnati pulls it off. Joe Burrow with a great game. That means the Eagles have won the NFC East. We will be hosting the Chicago Bears in the first round of the playoffs as the 3 seed. So it goes Bucs, Niners, us, Green Bay, and Dallas in the top 5. Wow, we finally win our first division title in the series. We should have won it last year, but we got screwed by Madden. This year we don't get screwed, and we're going to be the 3rd seed. I don't know what the tiebreaker would have been between us and the Niners. We had the same conference record, the same division record. We didn't play them head-to-head, but they ended up getting the 2 seed, so it's whatever. The most interesting thing here about the standings is we scroll to the bottom. The winless Atlanta Falcons won. They won. Who got humiliated and lost to the Falcons? It was the Giants. How do you lose to the winless Falcons? This is the same Giants team who blew us out earlier in the year. Here's the AFC. The Chiefs are the 1 seed. The Steelers, Patriots, and Jaguars all win their divisions. A number of 10-win teams like the Texans and Colts miss out, whereas in the NFC, you had the Vikings at 8-9 get in as the 7th seed. So it's pretty clear the AFC is the superior conference. As I said, we're going to do the season recap. We had 3 coaches get fired. Arthur Smith makes sense. Pete Carroll makes sense. And Sean McVay, after just 1 year with the Giants, he got canned. I guess that's what happens when you lose to the winless Falcons. So as we look at the stats on the year, Xander Vanderwall was up and down, but the real test for Vanderwall begins now in the playoffs. We got to figure out if he's a winner. Tazwell Hubbard was fantastic this year. Rosemont St. Clair was highly productive as well. In the receiving game, Tykeem Keon ended up being our leading pass catcher. Probably would have been Devontae Smith had it not been for the injury. This is Smith's first time with under 1,000 yards, but he would have gotten it had he not gotten injured. So kind of unfortunate there. Of course, Smith is looking for a contract extension this offseason. He's going to want a lot of money, and he probably deserves it. The offensive line was quite solid. The defense was highly productive as well. Our defense was very inconsistent throughout the year, particularly at the beginning of the season, but then we fired Robert Saleh, and then after that, the defense slowly but surely got better. Our defense is playing better than ever right now this past month or so. Of course, C.J. Thomas led the NFL in picks. We're forcing turnovers. We're getting sacks. Our run defense has been unbelievable since we fired Robert Saleh, whereas when Saleh was here, our run defense was hideous for what it's worth. We also have the best kicker in the NFL. Zebediah Phoenix is that dude. He, of course, has made numerous kicks from 60-plus yards, including an NFL record 67-yarder, and then Jack Fox is quite good, too. Let's take a look at the awards on the season. So the MVP winner ended up being Thomas Patrick Edward Brady Jr. of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brady, at 47 years old, threw for 6,000 yards. Yeah, so that happened. No Eagles in the top 10, which makes sense. Coach of the Year goes to our very own Champ Britton. I mean, it's not like we really improved from last year, but hey, I'm not complaining. We'll breeze through the AFC awards. Patrick Mahomes wins Offensive Player of the Year. Bradley Chubb wins Defensive Player of the Year. Bjorn Syverson wins Offensive Rookie of the Year over the generational Greg Waters-Key. And then Niles Onwualu, a player we almost drafted, won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Based off of the looks of things, it seems like Onwualu had a better rookie year than Edmund Orient. Not that I regret picking Orient, but just some food for thought. And then here are all the rest of the positional awards. As for the NFC, Brady wins Offensive Player of the Year, Vanderwall in 6th. No Hubbard in the top 10 is very disrespectful. Bosa wins Defensive Player of the Year, C.J. Thomas in 10th. I feel like he should have been higher. Loco Nwosu of the one-win Falcons wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Nico Cabanera, the number 1 overall pick, in 2nd. I know Cabanera was kind of a meme pick, but he wasn't all that bad this year. JT DeMarco finishes in 7th, but he did finish higher than the top receiver taken, Money Motique, who finished in 8th. Edmund Orient, 5th for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Xander Vanderwall, 4th for Best Quarterback, 1 spot ahead of Jalen Hurts, for what it's worth. Best Running Back, Tazwell Hubbard, is in 6th. The disrespect is off the charts. How is he 6th? That makes no sense. Mo Rogers, former Westlake Hornet, wins Best Receiver. Tykeem Keon in 8th. Devontae Smith would have made the list had it not been for the injury. Jedrick Wills and Jason Kelsey, both on the Best Offensive Line list. For Best Defensive Line, we had nobody. Best Linebacker, we had a number of guys. Simmons in 6th, Uche in 8th, Wagner in 9th. C.J. Thomas wins the Best DB over Trayvon Diggs. Ha! Nehemiah Richardson, Joko Nwosu, and Deshaun Elliott also finish in the top 10. And no surprise, Zebediah Phoenix wins the Best Kicker. We had a number of Pro Bowlers this year as well. Zebediah Phoenix, obviously, he's probably our best overall player. Isaiah Simmons, Joko Nwosu for the first time, Deshaun Elliott, Bobby Wagner, that was kind of a surprise, and C.J. Thomas. We had a number of snubs, Nehemiah Richardson. We had nobody on offense. I feel like Jason Kelsey and Tazwell Hubbard should have made it. Maybe Tykeem Keon too. So our first round matchup is against the Bears. As you all know, we have some unfinished business. They beat us just a couple of weeks ago, back in Week 16. And of course, last year in Philadelphia, they beat us in the playoffs. And just like last year, it's going to be in a blizzard. So it's literally going to be the exact same thing as last year, minus that was in the divisional round. So we have a true opportunity to get revenge on the Bears, who barely beat us in the playoffs last year. Should be a lot of fun. That video will premiere later this week. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out. Go Birds.